Polytel presents
エリック・クラプトン、どうしてこのアルバムにこんなにヒット曲が入ってんの？ムーディー・ブルース、
Nights in white satin,
ロンディー、エオテル・ジョーン、キーフォン・ラニー、オーライト・ナウ、ノット・スチュアート。
Formula 30 means 30 big hits. Peter Frampton, The Hollies,
And so, Formula 30.
Formula 30, 30 big hits by the original artists. New from Polytel in stores now.
Hey guys, welcome back into the record room. And you may be thinking to yourself, why have I just watched a very, very odd commercial for an album from the 80s? And well, I will tell you why. See, on last week's episode, I did say that I was going to take another look at an entry in my What's It Worth series, but then I picked up an album, I listened to that album, and then it just sort of sparked off all these wonderful memories. And that's what I thought I wanted to talk about today, rather than show you some more of what's in my collection, because I can do that anytime. I thought I'd strike while the iron is hot and talk about something that, is it an art form? I would consider it an art form, and one we have lost recently, especially since the advent of digital music and playlisting. And that's the art form known as the mighty compilation album. Now, as you saw at the start of this episode, there was an ad for an album called Formula 30, or a double LP that was just packed full of incredible songs by incredible artists. And these days, compilation albums don't really exist. I mean, they do, but not to the same extent they used to. You used to be able to go into a record store and find just multiple compilation albums of varying genres, times, ages, subjects. It used to be fantastic. And back in the day when I was a kid, it was the best way to get the biggest bang for your buck, because you could buy one record and have a lot of hits on it. And nowadays, obviously, you've got streaming platforms and you can just make a playlist. And it's virtually the same, but I don't know, I feel like we've lost something by being able to do it ourselves. There is something about buying an album that somebody else has put together and listening to it from your perspective, enjoying what they've done as a person that's compiled this album. And the album that started the genesis of this episode is this album here, American Heartbeat. Now, this is a compilation album from 1984, released on the Epic label, Epic CBS. And I picked this up. I have a local record store, localish record store, to where I'm based in the UK. And I have been going there for a few years, and it changed hands, changed owners a couple of years back. And now they've actually just started announcing a closing down sale, everything like reduced. So I've been going in there and picking up some bits and pieces, but recently it seems they've taken out all of what was good in the shop and just filled it with kind of some garbage, some stuff that I can't imagine many people would want to buy at any price. But while I was in there last time, I was flicking through the racks. I think everything is now marked down to like 50p or £1 or £2. And I came across this album, American Heartbeat, and just straight away I looked at that cover and looked at the album and thought, I love everything about this. 1984, what is this? And essentially it's like a radio rock compilation, FM rock, what's it called? AOR, adult oriented rock, I believe is the correct term for it. And this was a wonderful time as well, where if you can see here, this compilation also came out on VHS. There's a video available of this. I would love to track that down. But essentially, this is just a killer single disc compilation of 80s rock songs. Eye of the Tiger, Rosanna, Who's Crying Now, Don't Fear the Reaper, Babe, Take It on the Run, Dance Hall Days, More Than a Feeling, Africa, Harden My Heart, Keep on Loving You, Carry On Wayward Son, Heat of the Moment, I Got You, American Heartbeat, and Hold the Line. Any album that has 3 Toto songs on it for a compilation is already like a thumbs up in my book. But this track listing kind of reads a little bit like an episode of Supernatural. It's so good. There is literally not a bad song on this compilation. And the first time I played it, I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. But, you know, I was doing stuff in the background. And then I sat down the other weekend. My wife and I were just sitting down on the weekend, just having coffee in the morning. And I put it on. And she was just like, what is this record? It is so, so good. And it really is. I cannot say enough good things about this compilation. If you are a fan, obviously it helps if you are a fan, but there is not a bad track on this. You know, it's absolutely fantastic. And I imagine at the time it was quite popular because, I mean, getting Eye of the Tiger, Africa, Carry On Wayward Son, Don't Fear the Reaper, all on one album. I mean, that to me is just absolutely brilliant. And compilation albums, as I said before, every song on here is a banger, and you could fill up, you know, a DC-60 or a 90, and you would just have a great compilation there and then. And so I thought I'd show you some of my favorite compilation albums, because they do hold a little bit of a soft spot in my heart. I remember my first ever compilation that I purchased with my own money was for my birthday. I think it was my 12th birthday. 12 or 13, something like that, and I bought Now 17. Now That's What I Call Music 17, and that was just, it's a double LP. The Now That's What I Call Music series has been going for years, and every song on there was just, it had like your pop side, a little bit of a dancey side, a little bit of an indie side. It was so, so, so good. Sadly, I don't own that record anymore. It's long gone, but I do have some of my favorite compilations here. And I thought I'd share them with you, because any one of these is the kind of album you could throw on like at any point, any time of day, to most people, and they would probably be like, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So the album that I showed you the commercial for at the start of the show was Formula 30, which I do actually own. And Formula 30, I don't want to say this was kind of a new wave compilation, but new wave rock. I don't know. And just like, it says on here, original recordings, original artists, because there was this tendency to have cover versions put on compilation albums. But it says here, all tracks selected with your neighbors in mind for maximum interwall sonority, play it loud. Don't get any better than that. But beautiful gatefold LP. And just let me just read off this track. This track list, just insane. Honky Tonk Woman by the Rolling Stones, Maggie May, All Right Now, Keep on Running, Virginia Plain, Layla, Hi Ho Silver Lining, Come on Eileen. Like, that's a party right there. Side 2, Satisfaction, Rockin' All Over the World, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, Call Me, Substitute by The Who, She's Not There by The Zombies, A Whiter Shade of Pale by Procol Harum. Side 3's Let's Spend the Night Together by the Rolling Stones, Love Is the Drug, Nutbush City Limits, I Shot the Sheriff, Sultans of Swing, and it just goes on. Side 4, Jumping Jack Flash, Pinball Wizard, Don't Go Breaking My Heart, Nights in White Satin, I'm Not in Love, You Wear It Well. It's just, every song on this is a brilliant, brilliant song of its era. And if this were a compilation, or if this were a playlist on Spotify, I would be playing the absolute heck out of this. And who did this one? What does it say here? This is a Pro TV London. So it's Decca. This is a Decca compilation. And again, I don't remember exactly where I picked this one up, but I know it was really, really cheap at the time, like maybe a couple of pound. Which even back when I picked it up, I probably picked this record up 20 odd years ago, maybe more. When does this come from? What's the actual, is there a date on the LP itself? 1983. So a year before, concept and compilation by Nick Baker and George, I can't pronounce that, so I'm not even going to try. Engineered by Gary Moore at Polygram Studios. So like a real engineer put this together, not somebody just, you know, messing around with a playlist. What a great compilation, and kind of goes along with the American Heartbeat. Really good. This is one I recently picked up at the same time as I picked up the American Heartbeat album, and something that's kind of lacking in my collection is 60s or 60s pop. I'm not a massive fan of 60s pop. For me, the 70s onwards is kind of like my sweet spot. 70s rock, 70s disco, 70s pop. But I saw this 60s beat compilation. Get ready, get set, go with 60s beat. And it's a double LP. And I thought, okay, let me just see what's on this. And this was a mighty princely sum of £2. And I thought, right, okay. So you've got Do Wah Diddy by Manfred Mann. You know, it's a classic. Shout by Lulu. I Only Want to Be With You, Dusty Springfield. You Really Got Me, The Kinks, which is one of the heaviest tunes in the world. And it's from the 60s. Wild Thing by the Trogs. You've Lost That Loving Feeling by the Righteous Brothers. Tom Jones is on here. Lazy Sunday by the Small Faces, House of the Rising Sun by the Animals, Ain't She Sweet by the Beatles, Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys, Summer in the City by the Lovin' Spoonful, and just it goes on. She's Not There by the Zombies. A little bit of overlap there with the Formula 30, but Fire by Arthur Brown, one of the greatest intros to any song in the world ever. And yeah, for £2, this is worth £2 of anyone's money as far as I am concerned. And switching things up, this is actually the last compilation I think I got upon release. Now, compilations do still exist today, but they tend to exist in the form of movie soundtracks, which is great. Movie, TV soundtracks, which is great. It is great that the art form is still alive, but there is something to be said for these older ones and how they were put together. This one here is, if I were to only be able to take one compilation with me, I was moving to a desert island, this would probably be the one I would take. And this is Funkology, One Nation Under a Groove. And this is a 4 LP set, and Sweet Christmas. I'm not going to show you the inner gatefold because it is risque to say the least, but Funkology, a study of music that combines traditional forms of black music such as blues, R&B and soul, and is characterized by strong backbeat. This is just everything you could possibly want. Parliament, Sly and the Family Stone, Kool and the Gang, Zapp, Commodores, the Fatback Band, George Clinton, Ohio Players, James Brown, Bootsy Collins, Herbie Hancock, Rick James. Not going to do the joke. It's everything is great, and what's great about this as well is there's a lot of full versions on this. So Brass Construction's Moving, which has been sampled to death. It's in a ton of stuff. 8 minutes 37 seconds. There is I'm pretty sure this does have on it as well Marvin Gaye's Got to Give It Up Part 1. Just this is a fantastic compilation. This was put out 2001 by Warner's, and I'm pretty sure you can probably find a lot of these, you know, on Discogs or eBay, and then they're not going to be expensive. 99% of the time they just come on black vinyl. And, you know, oh, it's not 180 grams, it's not 140 grams. No, but it sounds amazing. It sounds fantastic. I would recommend, if you have any kind of inkling towards the funky side of like 70s and 80s, get yourself a copy of Funkology, because everything you could want is on this one album. And staying funky, staying with the 70s, this is the very first 70s compilation that I ever purchased. I picked this up from Flashback in Angel in London. This was in their bargain bin outside the store. So before you even walked in the store, they were selling records out on the street. I paid 50 pence for this, maybe 15 years ago. Superbad. Look at this. Superbad. Now, from what I remember, Superbad was actually a series of compilations from the 70s, and this is kind of the return of Superbad. And what this is kind of a best of the Superbad compilations. It's sold out hits of the 70s, and the original price on this from Low Price Records was $4.99. Even if I'd have paid $4.99 for this, it would have been an absolute steal. Just for a start, this dude is giving me life on the inner gatefold. Just throwing all these mad shapes. I mean, I'm not going to hate on that. And the songs on this are nothing short of fantastic. This was released on the Mighty K-Tel label, which, if you are a fan of compilations, K-Tel is a name, a label, a brand you'll be very familiar with. K-Tel did tons of compilations, some good, some bad, but this may be the cream of the crop. Side 1, the Jacksons, Blame It on Boogie. We've got Love Train by the OJs. We've got Boogie Nights by Heatwave. Fire by the Ohio Players. Superfly by Curtis Mayfield. The theme from Shaft. Native New Yorker, Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel. That's the Way I Like It. By Casey and the Sunshine Band. Ring My Bell. You Sexy Thing by Hot Chocolate. Play That Funky Music by Wild Cherry. Ain't Gonna Bump No More by J-Tex. Lady Marmalade by LaBelle. That Lady by the Isley Brothers, which is just one of the most riff-tastic. Just, if you've never heard the riff before in That Lady, check it like now. It is incredible. And then you've got The Hustle by Van McCoy. I mean, that's not even everything that's on this. I just read you a selection of what's on this. And I really truly believe we have lost something. This was from 1988. 1988. It's hard to believe. What is that? That's 36 years? Something like that. 36 years. We've lost something with the dissolution or the disappearance of the compilation album. And every time I go to a record store now, I flick through the compilation section because it's still a great way to get the biggest bang for your buck. You can throw the album on for most people and they're going to enjoy it. You know, I know some people come to this channel looking for your fix of, you know, soundtracks or black metal, heavy metal, but I enjoy and love all music. And that's what's great about these compilations. I can build up a collection of music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And it's a very, very small amount of records. Now, I do have other compilations in the record room, but I just wanted to highlight a few of my favorite ones there. I routinely listen to these records. I think they're fantastic. I'd highly recommend any of them. But what about you guys out there? Are you a fan of the Mighty compilation? Drop me a line in the comments below and let me know. And thank you again to all of our new subscribers. We are just 12 subscribers away from the magic 500, which I never ever thought in a million years that I would get 500 people listening to me waffle about vinyl. But thank you. It means a heck of a lot. Now, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that big subscribe button. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you're not following us online, you can find us on social media at Record Room Show. But until next time, spin those blackest circles.